Oh, welcome. We are going to just go over what I wrote. It's about the most, what do you say, in between technical and particularly graspable way of putting it for the average person, which is most of us. So it should make sense that way. Otherwise, it's nonsense. Anyhow, I might have already read ahead, but since the issue is finding a computer for it, we were talking about uploading consciousness. The funding and cooperation, it would make sense to take the extant mechanism that is working to a degree and throw it into a feedback loop on itself by either leveraging a superior version that is synthetic and physical, but integrating computation technology. If that doesn't work, we know biology is somehow the key to the lock. And not traditionally mortal, but rather modular, so can be experimentally elaborated upon until super functional, beyond functional as we understand it, and then used as a means of explaining exactly how to enhance a vulnerable human brain safely. I'm talking about constructing an artificial physical brain, possibly based off of transistors or neuromorphic computing interfaces, or it doesn't even have to be an interface. Well, it has to be an interface, otherwise you're not interacting with it, but you don't have to be directly linked or under its potentially its control. Quantum computing transistors would be almost too powerful in a way. So my point was, you could take this artificial brain, and once it has human capacities, you could play around with it and make it better. It's not really unethical because your goal is to add things to it. Like, the only thing you would be doing are things that hypothetically add to the consciousness. So it's not like you're torturing it, hopefully. But this method is made to revive the dead, and so if something gets tortured but survives and can have all evil undone unto it once it escapes into the paradox break velocity, I know that's a loose term, but then it's all made correct, beyond correct. It's like how Jesus is spoken of, except actually real, would be the goal. That would be the goal. Anyway, I say this because while a human cannot necessarily be trusted, nothing else could be either. And to have a biological entity with the knowledge of what it is to be human, as well as demipotence and demitience. Demipotence and demitience. There we go. Demitience. Yeah, working on that one. I came up with it right now. It actually technically would just mean half. Demi means half. That's why a demigod is not quite a god, not quite a human. I was messing around with the syntax there. Greater demipotence and demitience with a 2-to-1 ethical / moral / compassionate / kind / good-willed mind to intelligent, rational, literal, factual, objective ratio. 2-to-1 would be ideal. This is our closest guarantee to ensuring absolute alignment, because there's the AI alignment problem in computer science, or whatever you'd like to call it, cognitive systems. And similar to, yet better than, our values. This person, who is in smart people world, kind of, well, throwing it into a feedback loop sounds like a good idea, but if I read properly, you also mean to create a better version of it, but wouldn't that require for it to be much more efficient in the first place? Drop the bomb. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Good or bad. I mean, as in it could be either. I already looked it up, but so I said multiple step process. The best I could put it until I gather and organize and better elaborate across perhaps years if I have those is healthy brain, internet. Those are not guarantees. Neutropicized, so that'd be a brain that's loaded to the brim with effective nootropics, specifically targeted to enhance its own correlated networks, neural correlates of awareness or cognitions. Cognitions is one of my favorite made-up it might be a word, but neutropicized and self-maxed potential brain. So there's nothing that it cannot do compared to itself. It's about as good as it can get. Not necessarily that a brain could be, though, because that's the whole point of this. Ideal laid out process and collaborative efforts, if at all possible. Sorry, I'm struggling with my face and making it make noises properly. Jeez. It's actually really frustrating, but that's what it is. Synthetic modular artificial brain, whether as a one-to-one faithful replica or an exocortex, I misspelled that, but it's what it is again, or a brain-computer interface, or you couldn't really call it a computer, or a superior version of human intelligence or raw internet neural interface database. So, or a superior version of human intelligence or raw internet neural interface database, so like a super fucking personal computer. You kind of become synonymous with it in a way under that pretense. The next step would be neural mesh. I got that. I forget who I got that from because my memory's fried. Or biological remotely directed nanite swarm neurosurgery. Biological remotely directed nanite swarm neurosurgery. So I just wanted to repeat that so it made sense. Adding extracortical real estate, so beyond the cortex, more than, like similar, you have a right hemisphere and a left hemisphere, like a third hemisphere kind of thing, or you have like the reptile brain and the mammal brain and then the human brain. It'd be like throwing on another one. One sec. Oh God, I want to be free of this so bad. So adding extracortical real estate and vasculature and algorithmic adaptive self-rewiring. So that means it's both algorithmic and adaptive. As in it cannot fail because it follows a dictated rule set pattern. And it's adaptive because you never know exactly what's going to work at this kind of thing perfectly right up front all the time, because if you did, again, we would have this. So it has to be algorithmic adaptive. Self-rewiring, of course. Angiogenesis, which just means adding the vasculature. I did redundantly repeat myself there. Skull obsolescence, so like get beyond the boundaries of that thing. It's holding us back. Feedback loop between machine and enhanced human or humans. And this is strictly in an informational, cognitive, rationalizationable sense. Intelligible, intelligent, cognizable way. You just have to crack the solution. That completes the neurosynthetic stage. More or less. In a manner of speaking, roughly speaking. I had to come up with 3 synonyms there. With sufficiently advanced cognition, planning, reasoning, innovation, synthesis, and learning, as well as self-recursive action, can begin to take hold at extremely rapid rates. That was not grammatically correct. Material science breakthroughs could be made, and the fidelity between bio and tech could be more successfully brought to bear on the overall issue of how to design a dual neuromuscular prosthetic gel substrate which could be rendered compatible with the nature of biosynthetic consciousness itself, as a systematic and qualitatively subjective emergent phenomenon and becomes soluble with common earth materials, the crust mainly, more autonomous and vastly self-generating and self-iterating, a metabolizing agent of inanimate material. So it's a metabolizing agent that metabolizes off of inanimate material. And it's clearly animate, but it's not made necessarily. It's made of sort of whatever it needs to be, whatever it chooses to be. But that wasn't as clear as it could have been. That's why I'm reading this out loud over again, I guess, as well as to share. But don't really want to share it in its current form, but I have to, and then I'll do a better version, I guess, later on when it's all like fully correctly collected and synthesized, truly, properly. Not as in it's actually happened, but I don't know. I'm just feeling desperate with what's going on right now. Metabolizing agent of inanimate material, guided by ever rapidly evolving consciousness. Awareness, cognition, and dynamism, as it uses its own capacities to learn how to better conduct and design itself. Not like conductor of an orchestra, conduct as in behave correctly unto its own rules, but unto the rules of things around itself that are rule laden by their very own nature. At this time, you might have a fully self-configuring being with the mind of all electromagnetically transmitted data at its hands. And, well, not all, but all on Earth. All available electromagnetically transmitted data on Earth. Data, whatever you prefer, and inferential reasoning capacities based on its cumulative memory from before up until now, total. And expanding domain knowledge of its domain, as well as definitionally enhanced fluid and abstract and scientific thinking capacities and sensory motor capability. The multifaceted action complexes may lead to maximally capitalized ability to enact and enable all that a bioengineered and bioengineerable customizable organism, cognitive entity, and conscious being, as well as a systemic multiplicitous yet singular network, could do. Down to quantum supercomputing at its own transistor synapses, using whatever mechanism of slow rate, energy efficient, esoteric mechanism the brain already runs on. This would be hyper efficient and simultaneously would be able to exponentially expand itself in every possible conceptual frame of competence and sheer scale. This is where the Terramind stage comes to fruition. I don't feel comfortable fully explaining the juicy lore possibilities, consequentially actualization at the transcendence stage. But you could use your imagination what a demigod of Earth could do as a functionally, locally limitless agent of logical, ethical, and empathetic intent. Empathic would have worked too. Ultimate telic metafractality. It's kind of a combo of me, Chris Lang, and Terrence McKenna, which is a little bit cringe, but not really that much. Scan your body and your soul for what you are, want, need, and may safely become, and with informed consent, like a really freaking good doctor, Doc, expand your every cell into whatever strata of excellence and transcendentality you wish to occupy and enjoy. This being would crack the underlying fundamental code of all that is comprehensible, available at our current level of construct, or layer of construct is probably what I meant to say, something like that, instead of just our current construct. What do you mean available at our current construct? Why not attain near light speed travel with super intelligent compression of self and a small mass projectile to the moon and Mars and Venus, as well as utilizing all reasonably available resources to create dynamic power and communication grids across the solar system. That needs a question mark. God knows if space-time is even a limiting factor at that point, but certainly there may be a way to optimally fold and unfold and leverage the mass and substrate we have at hand to leapfrog into Alpha Centauri and continue the process. Hell, why not encode conscious self into the grid patterns of light beams and autoconstructive photon arrays and surpassing relativity interdict oneself interminably into the fabric constructs of reality? Diversify the portfolio. Quarks, wave-particle duality, quantum entanglement, black holes, dark matter, dark energy, entropy, electromagnetic background radiation. Did I say gravity? Gravity itself, time crystals, virtual particles. Find a way to create a controlled vibrational agitation sequence through the near-zero room temp of space that is congruent with your thought patterns. String theory true? Quantum gravity? Panpsychism? Holographic universe? Hey, find out, feel free, and make yourself at home in the cosmic backyard to run around and cavort in. Type 7 Kardashev. When we get in this patch obtained, we could empirically attain a religious-style afterlife. Revive the dead by tracing the atomic trajectory, pattern histories, and reassimilating them and identifying their essence using the fact that your body and mind are literally reality's fabric. Simulate them using yourself as the proxy and then actually do whatever is necessary in the space-time and beyond continuum, Bed Bath and Beyond, space-time and beyond, to reincarnate them as really, truly themselves. I'm going to provide plenty of examples for why, even if we don't reach that stage, we need it here locally on Earth. No Ultron activity. I am not Tony Stark. Bro does not even think that. Bro can stop talking about bro is. Bro is not. Oh. Well, there you have it. I'm going to do more on this. I have many stories to tell. Many ideas to share and to find and to relay to you and to condense. Not only relating to this, but this is the main one. Because again, everything else feels like a waste of time. It feels like a tweaker vacuuming a street if I did anything else before this. Even things I really want to do. Really, really would prefer to be doing. Because this is a little bit hard. I mean, I actually really think it's awesome and enjoy it. And I'm happy to bring it to you. More than happy, but it's I'd like to talk to friends, spend time with dogs, try to like talk to girls, or like eat food, or like get, I don't know, it's like do something self-destructive, like get cigarettes or drugs. Just kidding. Or play a video game. I'm gonna play a video game right now because I can do that. Yippee. Anyway. Or can I? The headphones are too far away. I'm going straight to bed. Never mind. Or do I take my antidepressant tomorrow? I already have one in my system. So, Excelementeo. Guess I could play this for a little bit with the sound off. Alright. Take it easy, okay? Consider if this is possible. There's a person at MIT. She has a PhD in robotics and is a professor. And she's worked at NASA. HK. Bring it to her, or Lex Fridman. That's all I'll say if I perish.